My case, I was just sitting there commentating and suddenly passed out and woke up in the hospital. And I didn't really, I guess I didn't really get the sense of actually having a heart attack. So in that respect, I probably will feel like I can get back to my regular activities sooner than I probably should.
When someone like you who doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, is in good shape, is led the kind of life they tell you to lead, are they attributing this possibly to family history, do they think?
Well, probably so. This was more than likely mostly genetics. As I said, my father had 7 heart attacks and passed away when he was 59 years old, buried on my 19th birthday. My brother has had open heart surgery and quadruple bypass, and it's just probably something that was going to happen. But I do think, and the doctor definitely told me, that the lifestyle that I've led, other than not being the greatest and healthiest eater on earth. I love fried chicken, as everybody knows, but as you said, I've never even tasted alcohol, not a sip of beer, wine, whiskey, or anything in my life. Never had a cigarette even in my hand, much less smoke one, and never done any kind of drugs. So that type of lifestyle probably helped minimize what could have been a lot more severe.
Jerry, what do you say to the fans, the overwhelming amount of support that you've received?
Well, it has been just that word, overwhelming. Everybody, especially here in Memphis, but literally all around the world, the outpouring of concern and the prayers and well wishes, it's just, it's something that until you experience it, you can't even comprehend what it's like. You can't even, your phone is constantly ringing, your tweets in this day of social media with all the emails and touts and tweets and sort of thing. It's been crazy. And literally, with the WWE exposure that I've had, it has been from all corners of the world. I mean, the fans and the concern has poured in from everywhere.
I understand that you had options to possibly, some people suggested that you go to your condo in Florida before returning back to Memphis. How important was it for you to return back to Memphis?
Well, I mean, I think anybody that knows Jerry Lawler knows that, I mean, I'm all about Memphis. I mean, Memphis is my home. I had told people a long time, or a lot of times, that a lot of people say, why do you stay in Memphis? And I said, well, number one, it's my home. And up until 2 years ago, when my mom passed away, I'd always said, well, my mom is here and I'm going to always be in Memphis, at least to take care of her until something happens to her. But then, even after she's gone, I don't think I could ever move out of this city. I love this city. I love Memphis, Tennessee, and the people here have just been fantastic to me. I mean, my girlfriend was shopping last night at Kroger, trying to get me some healthy food at late night, and she runs into Mayor A.C. Wharton, and he scribbles on the back of his card, said, "Jerry, get well. Memphis needs you." And when you have that many, and I mean from every every aspect of individuals, when you have that many people thinking about you, you live in a special place.
So what are the doctor's orders immediately?
Well. As I said, the prognosis yesterday, when I went in and met with Dr. McDonald for the first time, was really encouraging. He looked at it, and as I said, he told me, I've seen, of course, a lot of heart or cardiac events, and from the way you started, the way it looked at first, it could have turned out a lot worse. But thank the good Lord that it happened where it did happen. Not only Montreal, Canada, where the hospital they rushed me to was the Royal Victoria Hospital, which is one of the, I think, top 5 cardiology care hospitals in the world. But the fact that the WWE doctors, Dr. Sampson, and then the paramedics that we always have on call at all of our shows were right there on hand, it just kept it from being probably much worse than it could have been. So it was all encouraging in the fact that he said it looked like there was no permanent damage, no damage that you couldn't recover, that the heart couldn't recover and heal itself from. And he just, the main thing he talked about was changing my diet a little bit and doing a little more exercise. And the thing that was most encouraging to me was, he said, I don't even need to see you again for 6 weeks. So that, that to me sounded good.
If they say you can get back in the ring, will you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so
And I, I want people to understand and they know, I mean, I've had so many calls and messages from my fellow wrestlers. Literally everybody in the WWE has contacted me. Guys that like Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair that aren't even in the WWE anymore have contacted me. And there's a brotherhood or a camaraderie of guys that do this for a living, and it's entertainment, and so it's not necessarily as, I don't want to say as physically demanding as it seems, because it is physically demanding, but you're not necessarily taking your life in your hands every time you climb in the ring. So from that from that aspect, I feel like I can go back and do it again. And I say at this point, I certainly would want to try to go back and do it again.
Jerry, have you had any signs leading up to this?
Well, I've basically said no, with the exception of my girlfriend and I were on a trip to Aruba the week before, and it was the first time I think that I can remember in my life that I ever had any sort of chest discomfort. And it wasn't really chest pains. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, my chest is hurting. It was just a discomfort, and the fact that it didn't, it felt a little different. And I sort of told Lauren, I kind of wrote it off as maybe indigestion or whatever. And literally it didn't last 4 or 5 minutes. But I do remember that happened. But other than that, the day of the actual heart attack, I felt perfectly fine. I felt normal. There were no warning signs, nothing at all. I actually, we prepared for the show, everybody went over what was going to take place on the show. What I actually remember was going out, greeting the fans before the show started at about 5 minutes until 7, and sitting down at my announce chair. And the first segment was our WWE champion CM Punk came out and sort of confronted Bret Hart, who was a local Canadian hero there and had been famous for an event there in Montreal. So these two guys had a big confrontation in the first segment. I can remember that just like it happened 5 minutes ago. And after that, that's literally all I remember. But apparently I went on and had a match. Randy Orton and I went in the ring and wrestled CM Punk and Dolph Ziggler, not like a 2-segment match, and apparently I just looked like normal in the match. We won the match. Then I came back over to the announce table, sat down, put my headsets on, and continued on broadcasting the show.
But you don't remember any of it?
Don't remember any of it, not one bit. I mean, Lauren has shown me the video of the match, and it's like watching a match that may have taken place 10 years ago that I don't remember. I don't remember a bit. And then apparently the next thing that happened was I just sort of slumped over on the desk, and actually my broadcast partner Michael Cole said, I knew something was wrong because you started snoring. So, we're right in the middle of the show, and I guess the first thing I sounded like I was snoring, and then I sort of, I guess, started shaking or whatever, and that's when Michael went off headset and called the doctors in. But the last thing I remember was Bret Hart and CM Punk talking to each other in the ring, and the next thing I remember is waking up in the hospital.
So no tunnel, no bright light.
Well, I would like to say that I saw that, but no, I didn't see any bright light. I didn't see my dead relatives or anything like that. And of course, Michael Cole suggested the reason I didn't see a bright light is because I was going in the opposite direction. So that may be the case, but no, I wish I could say that I did, but I just it's like it didn't even happen.
Can you tell us about the electrodes on your chest, and if you have any kind of anything going on as far as your heart being monitored right now?
As a matter of fact, I just went back this morning to Dr. McDonald's office, and they did the heart echo, the ultrasound type thing on the heart, which the nurse that did it told me it all looked good and looked normal. My blood pressure was 143 over 68, which is the lowest it's ever been in my life. So that was good. And then they just put a little a monitor, a 24-hour monitor on me With this, I have a bunch of electrodes and wires going to me right now that I have to wear until 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. And it's just, they just say, you know, it's a day, 1-day monitor thing that they like to do. Anything else? Okay, well, that was easy enough. Whew, I do sweat a lot now,
My
though.
father was buried on my 21st.